Mia sat alone in the corner of Sterling Cafe, the same cafe where everything had begun. Rain tapped gently against the window beside her, creating small rivers down the glass. She held a cup of tea between her hands, but it had grown cold. She hadn't taken a single sip. It had been 3 years since she last saw him. 3 years since Leo walked out of her life. But today, on this rainy November afternoon, the memories felt as fresh as yesterday. The cafe looked exactly the same. The same wooden tables, the same soft jazz music playing in the background, the same smell of coffee and cinnamon in the air. But everything felt different now. Everything felt empty. Mia looked around the room. Young couples sat together, laughing and talking. An older man read a newspaper by the fireplace. A woman typed quickly on her laptop, probably working on something important. Everyone seemed to belong somewhere to someone. But Mia felt like a ghost visiting a place that once held so much happiness, now filled only with the weight of what was lost. She closed her eyes and let herself remember. It was a spring morning 4 years ago. Mia had just moved to the city of Millbrook to start her new job as a teacher. She didn't know anyone. Everything was new and a little bit scary. That Saturday morning, she walked into Sterling Cafe for the first time. She wanted a quiet place to read and feel less alone. The cafe was warm and welcoming, with sunlight pouring through the big windows. Mia ordered a cappuccino and found a seat near the window. She opened her book, but she couldn't focus. Her mind kept wandering. She missed her family. She missed her old town. She wondered if moving here was a mistake. "Excuse me, is the seat taken?" Mia looked up. A man stood beside her table, holding a coffee cup and a sketchbook. He had kind brown eyes and a gentle smile. He wore a gray sweater and looked about her age, maybe 27 or 28. "No, it's free," Mia said softly. "Thanks," he said, sitting down. "I'm Leo, by the way." "Mia." They smiled at each other, and then Leo opened his sketchbook and began to draw. Mia went back to her book, but she kept glancing at him, curious about what he was drawing. After a while, Leo noticed her looking. "Do you want to see?" he asked, turning the sketchbook toward her. Mia's eyes widened. He had drawn the cafe. Every detail was perfect, the tables, the fireplace, even the barista behind the counter. But what caught her attention was the figure in the corner, a woman reading a book by the window. It was her. That's me," Mia said, surprised. Leo smiled. "I hope that's okay. You just look so peaceful sitting there, I couldn't help it." Mia felt her cheeks grow warm. "It's beautiful. You're really talented." "Thank you," Leo said. "I'm an illustrator. I come here every weekend to draw. It helps me relax." "I'm a teacher," Mia said. "I just moved here last week." "Welcome to Millbrook," Leo said warmly. "It's a good city, a little quiet but good." They talked for hours that day, about art and books, about their dreams and fears, about feeling like strangers in places that should feel like home. Mia forgot about her loneliness. For the first time since moving, she felt connected to someone. When the cafe closed that evening, Leo walked Mia to the bus stop. "Will you come back next Saturday?" he asked. "Maybe," Mia said, trying not to smile too much. "I'll be here," Leo said. "Same table." And she did come back. The next Saturday and the one after that and the one after that. Every weekend they met at Sterling Cafe. They talked, they laughed, they shared their worlds with each other. Slowly, without even realizing it, Mia fell in love. Summer came, and with it everything changed. Leo and Mia were no longer just cafe friends. They spent almost every day together. They walked through the city parks, ate dinner at small restaurants, watched old movies at Leo's apartment. Mia had never felt this way before. She had never felt so seen, so understood, so loved. One evening in July, they sat together on a hill overlooking the city. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. Leo had brought his sketchbook, but he wasn't drawing. He was just looking at Mia. "What?" Mia asked, laughing. "Why are you staring at me?" "Because you're beautiful," Leo said simply. Mia's heart skipped a beat. "Leo." "I'm serious," he said. Not just the way you look, everything about you, the way you care about your students, the way you listen when people talk, the way you see beauty in small things. You make the world feel less heavy. Mia felt tears in her eyes. No one had ever spoken to her like this before. You make me feel brave, she whispered. Leo took her hand. Mia, I don't know what the future holds, but I know that right now, in this moment, I love you. I really love you. I love you too, Mia said, and she meant it with her whole heart. They kissed as the sun disappeared behind the buildings. In that moment, everything felt perfect. Everything felt possible. For the next year, Mia and Leo built a life together. They weren't married, but they felt like they were. They knew each other's rhythms, each other's silences. They could communicate with just a look. Leo's illustration career was growing. He got hired by a children's book publisher and started working on his first big project. Mia watched him work late into the night, his desk covered with sketches and colored pencils. She loved seeing him so passionate about his art. Mia's teaching was going well too. Her students loved her. She created a warm classroom where kids felt safe to make mistakes and ask questions. She felt like she was making a difference. They talked about the future often, about getting a bigger apartment together, about traveling to Italy someday, about having a small wedding in the spring, about all the years they would share. But life, Mia would learn, doesn't always follow the plans we make. It started small. Little things that didn't seem important at the time. Leo began staying late at the studio more often. He said the publisher wanted more revisions, more changes to his illustrations. Mia understood. She was proud of him. But then he stopped coming to their Saturday cafe meetings. He missed dinner plans. He seemed distracted, far away, even when they were together. Are you okay? Mia asked one night as they lay in bed. I'm fine, Leo said. Just tired. This project is taking everything out of me. Maybe you should take a break, Mia suggested gently. I can't, Leo said. Not now, not when things are finally happening for me. Mia tried to understand. She tried to be patient, but she felt him slipping away little by little. Then, one cold evening in October, Leo came to her apartment with a serious expression on his face. We need to talk, he said. Those 4 words made Mia's heart sink. They sat on her couch. Leo looked at his hands, avoiding her eyes. I got an offer, he said quietly. A big one. A studio in New York wants me to work for them. They're offering me a full-time position as a lead illustrator. Mia's breath caught. New York, but that's so far. I know, Leo said. It's a 5-hour drive from here. When would you leave? Mia asked, though she already knew the answer would hurt. In 2 weeks. 2 weeks, not 2 months, not next year, 2 weeks. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Mia's voice cracked. Because I didn't know if I would take it, Leo said. But Mia, this is my dream. This is everything I've worked for. I can't say no. I'm not asking you to say no, Mia said, tears starting to fall. But what about us? What about our plans? Leo finally looked at her. His eyes were sad but also determined. Come with me. What? Come to New York, Leo said. We can start a new life there, together. Mia's heart ached. Leo, I just started building my life here. My students need me. I signed a contract with the school. I can't just leave. So what are we supposed to do? Leo asked, his voice rising. Just give up. Pretend we never happened. I don't know, Mia cried. I don't know, Leo, but I can't leave everything behind on 2 weeks' notice. That's not fair. They sat in silence. The truth hung heavy between them. They loved each other, but they were standing at a crossroads, and their paths were pulling them in different directions. Maybe we can do long distance, Mia said desperately. People do it all the time. Leo shook his head slowly. Mia, you know me, I get lost in my work. I'll be at the studio 16 hours a day. When would we see each other? Once a month? Once every 2 months? That's not a relationship, that's just waiting. So you're giving up. Mia's voice was sharp with pain. I'm being realistic, Leo said quietly. I love you. God, I love you so much. But I can't ask you to wait for someone who won't be there. and I can't stay here and wonder what if for the rest of my life." Mia covered her face with her hands. Her whole world was falling apart. "I need you to go," she whispered. "Mia." "Please, Leo, just go." Leo stood up slowly. He walked to the door, then turned back. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice breaking. "I'm so sorry." Then he was gone. The weeks after Leo left were the hardest of Mia's life. She went through the motions. She woke up when work, taught her classes, came home. But she felt numb, like she was watching her life from outside her body. She stopped going to Sterling Cafe. She couldn't bear to sit at their table alone. Her friends tried to help. They invited her out, they called her, they told her time would heal everything. But Mia didn't want time. She wanted Leo. At night, she lay in bed and replayed their last conversation over and over. She wondered if she should have said something different, if she should have asked him to stay, if she should have agreed to go with him. But deep down, she knew, they had both made their choices, and sometimes love isn't enough to bridge the distance between two people's dreams. One evening, 2 months after Leo left, Mia's phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number, but when she opened it, she knew immediately who it was from. It was a drawing, the same drawing Leo had made the first day they met, the woman reading by the window in Sterling Cafe. Below it, Leo had written, "Thank you for teaching me what love feels like. I'll never forget you. L." Mia cried for an hour. Then she saved the image, turned off her phone, and cried some more. Winter came and went, then spring returned. Slowly, painfully, Mia began to put herself back together. She started going to Sterling Cafe again, but this time with her students' assignments to grade. She started reading new books. She started taking long walks in the park. She started remembering who she was before Leo and who she could become after him. She met new people. She made new friends. She even went on a few dates, though none of them felt right. She wasn't looking for someone to replace Leo. She knew no one could. But she was learning to be okay alone. She was learning that her heart could break and still keep beating, that she could lose someone and not lose herself. One Saturday morning in April, almost 2 years after Leo left, Mia walked into Sterling Cafe. The sun was shining through the windows, just like that first day they met. She ordered her cappuccino and sat down at their old table. As she opened her book, she felt something shift inside her. The ache was still there, but it was softer now, less sharp, more like a scar than an open wound. She had survived. She had survived losing the person she thought she would spend forever with. And that meant she could survive anything. 3 years after Leo left Millbrook, on that rainy November day, Mia sat in Sterling Cafe with her cold tea and her memories. She hadn't heard from Leo in over a year. She didn't know if he was still in New York, if he was happy, if he ever thought about her. She had accepted that she might never know. But as she sat there, lost in thought, the cafe door opened. A delivery person walked in, looked around, and approached her table. "Are you Mia Chen?" they asked. "Yes," Mia said, surprised. "This is for you." They handed her a small package, wrapped in brown paper, and left. Mia stared at the package. Her hands were shaking as she opened it. Inside was a book, a children's book beautifully illustrated. The title read, "The Girl by the Window." Mia's breath caught. She opened the first page. The story was about a lonely artist who met a kind teacher in a cafe, about how she changed his world with her warmth and her light, about how they fell in love but had to walk different paths, about how she stayed in his heart forever, even when they were apart. Every illustration was breathtaking, and in every single one Mia recognized herself, her smile, her eyes, the way she held her cup of tea. Leo had drawn her into every page. On the last page, there was a dedication. "For Mia, you taught me that some people change us forever, even when they can't stay. Thank you for being my light. I hope life is giving you everything you deserve. All my love always. Leo." Mia pressed the book to her chest and let the tears fall. That evening, Mia sat at her desk at home. She opened her laptop and began to write. It was a letter, not to send, but to say, all the things she had never said, all the things she had been holding inside for 3 years. Dear Leo, I got your book today. I cried for an hour. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. Your art, your heart, everything about you. I'm not angry anymore. I thought I would be for longer, but anger is exhausting and I'm tired of carrying it. You made the right choice. I know that now. New York was your dream and you had to follow it, just like I had to stay here and build mine. We were right for each other, but wrong for the timing. And that's not anyone's fault. That's just life. I want you to know that I don't regret a single moment we shared. You taught me what love really means. Not just the happy, easy parts, but the hard parts too. The parts where you have to let someone go because you love them too much to hold them back. I hope you're happy, Leo. I hope you're creating beautiful art and living the life you dreamed of. I hope you found peace. I'm finding mine too, slowly. It looks different than I thought it would, but it's mine and that's enough. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being honest, even when it hurt. Thank you for the memories. I'll carry them forever, not as a weight, but as a gift. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you know that you'll always have a piece of my heart. Be well, my love. Yours always, in the way that matters most. Mia. She saved the letter in a folder on her computer. She would never send it, but writing it gave her something she desperately needed. Closure. 6 months later, on a bright spring morning, Mia walked into Sterling Cafe. She had just finished her second year at a new school across town. Her students had thrown her a surprise party, filling her classroom with handmade cards and flowers. She felt grateful. She felt proud. She felt whole. As she waited in line for her coffee, someone behind her spoke. Is that really you, Mia? She turned around. A familiar face smiled at her. It was Daniel, an old friend from college she hadn't seen in years. Daniel, oh my gosh, Mia hugged him. They caught up while waiting for their orders. Daniel had just moved to Millbrook for a job at the hospital. He was a doctor now, working in pediatrics. They talked and laughed like no time had passed at all. Hey, are you free right now? Daniel asked. I'd love to catch up more. Mia smiled. Actually, yes, I am. They sat down together at a table by the window. Not the table where she and Leo used to sit. A different one. A new one. As they talked, Mia realized something. She was genuinely happy, not pretending, not forcing it, truly deeply happy. She had loved Leo. She probably always would in some corner of her heart, but that love didn't define her anymore. It had shaped her, taught her, changed her, but it didn't own her. She was free. And in that freedom, she found something unexpected. The possibility of opening her heart again, not to replace what she had lost, but to discover what could be found. You seem different, Daniel said, smiling. In a good way, like you figured something out. Maybe I have, Mia said softly. She glanced out the window. The rain from months ago was gone. The sun was shining. Trees were blooming. Everything was new again. Epilogue, the lost and found. Love, Mia had learned, is never really lost. It transforms. It becomes memory, lesson, scar, strength. It lives in the songs that make you cry, the places that hold ghosts, the person you become after everything falls apart. Leo had been her first real love, the kind that breaks you open and shows you what your heart is capable of, the kind that doesn't last forever but changes you permanently. She didn't know where he was now. She didn't need to. Because the most important thing she had learned was this: losing someone doesn't mean losing yourself, and surviving heartbreak doesn't mean your heart stops working. It means it learns to beat differently, stronger, wiser, braver. Mia carried Leo with her, not as a weight, but as a chapter. A beautiful, painful, necessary chapter in the story of who she was becoming. And as she sat in Sterling Cafe that spring morning, talking to an old friend and feeling the warm sun on her face, she realized something profound. She had lost love, but she had found herself. And maybe, just maybe, that was exactly what she needed all along.